Commander's Office, your favorite Commanders YouTube show. If this is your first time stopping by, follow me on Twitter. You see it on the whiteboard. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. We are in mock draft season. We're about a month away from the NFL draft. And if you log on to any sort of social media, if you're really plugged into this, you can't miss a mock draft. Like they are just coming at you left, right, and center. Hell, even the team is doing mock draft Mondays. Like 3 years ago, that's completely unheard of, but everybody is selling into the idea of mock drafts. Now, everybody has their own personal favorite mock draft artist, if you will, maybe artiste, if you will. I prefer Daniel Jeremiah or Todd McShay. Maybe you like Mel Kiper, whoever. Like everybody has their own personal favorite. But I bring up Daniel Jeremiah because I was reading his most recent mock draft, 3.0, and I do what every Commander fan does. I skip all the nonsense and I get to our team. Who does this guy who is plugged in think Washington is going to draft at 29 overall? And to me, I was like, what edge is he going to have Washington selecting at 29 overall? So consider me blinded when I saw Azariah Thomas, the cornerback out of Florida State, who is not an edge defender. I mean, he plays on the outside, but he is not a guy that's going to stop the run. I was confused, and it led me to this question: is this something that people actually want to see? So I'm taking the question to you. At 29 overall, if you had the decision between an edge guy or a corner, who are you taking? Because for me, this isn't even really a question. It's been edge, edge, and more edge. They haven't really addressed this in free agency. They got a bunch of journeymen. And that sounds offensive. I promise you it's not. But when you're getting a one-year deal, you're not exactly a superstar player, right? You are getting a one-year deal, prove it, and if we really like you, we'll give you a little bit more, kind of a deal, right? And odds are, if you take a one-year deal, you probably didn't have a whole lot of other options. It's not like the market was flooded for you, right? So this team has signed a bunch of journeymen to put on the defensive line, which is fine, but I want more. I'm selfish. I want more. I want to see a guy that you could put at the edge spot and say, I feel a lot better about going up against Saquon Barkley twice a year, or whatever plug and play guy that the Dallas Cowboys have or the Giants have. Like there were dudes we had never heard of that were going for 100 yards and a quarter because this run defense was so bad. Now, in fairness, the guy, Tyrone Tracy, that went for 100 yards and a quarter, had like 40 yards the rest of the game. So they stepped up when they needed to, but still going for 100 yards and a quarter is not something that you want to do on a consistent basis, especially 2 years in a row. I don't want to do it, period. I damn sure don't want to do it 2 years in a row. So for me, it's absolutely about the edge. They didn't go trade for Trey Hendrickson yet. They haven't gone and traded for Trey Hendrickson. You need to get somebody that is going to be a part of this core moving forward. That is what Adam Peters was really brought in to do. Build a team that is going to be a sustained winner for years to come. And you're not doing that by signing a bunch of journeymen, which is why I can look at this and say, I think they're going to go edge. I believe that they should go edge because you have to solidify that. Now, why I think this is a conversation is because if you look at some of the best defenses that Dan Quinn has ever been a part of, they have really good DBs. The LOB Seahawks was the best defense that I have watched with my four eyes. I wasn't alive in 85. I was born in 95. The 2000 Ravens, I didn't really see because I was like 5 years old, and I'm not going to lie to you. But the 2012 Seahawks and the 2013 Seahawks, the Legion of Boom was the best defense that I've ever seen. And that was built almost exclusively back to front. They had good guys on the defensive line, don't get it twisted, but the prime of that defense was Sherman on one side, a combination of Brandon Browner or Maxwell on the other side, and then two really badass safeties with Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor. And right now, Washington has a really, really good corner in Mikey Sanders, still a guy that hopefully is going to be a badass corner in Marshawn Lattimore, and then a guy in Quan Martin that is not quite Earl Thomas or Cam Chancellor, but he is a really good safety, and he made a big play in a playoff game against Detroit that caused me to lose a little bit of jewelry. That's a true story. I dapped a dude up, my rings went flying. I don't know where they went. So I understand the thought process of wanting to build out in the defensive backfield, but none of that matters as far as I'm concerned if you cannot stop the run, if you cannot get after the quarterback. It is going to be a damn shame if this team walks into 2025 with no real adjustments at the edge spot. Like the only adjustments they have made are the ones that they have made as of time of recording, which is a bunch of journeymen and then Dorrance Armstrong on one side. You have to adjust that position. You're losing 10 and a half sacks with Dante Fowler walking out the door. I don't blame them for letting him walk out the door. He couldn't stop the run. As great as those 10 and a half sacks were, it's not like they were coming late in the season or in the postseason. He was basically a non-factor for a lot of the postseason. So I understand letting him walk out of the door, but you have to make some sort of addressing of that statement. You cannot walk into mini camps, preseason, and God forbid week one with a bunch of journeymen and Dorrance Armstrong filling out your defensive end spot. It has to be better. So for me, the answer is you got to go edge at 29. But I'm curious your thoughts. Hit me down below in the comments section. You see the Twitter on the whiteboard. Defensive end or cornerback at 29. What direction would you go? Answer my question. I appreciate you stepping into my office. Now, respectfully, get out.